We're going to walk through an example of inputting values from an Inforce illustration into the blueprint calculator for an Inforce example. The illustration that we'll be working off came in a few days ago, so it's not very old. You do want a recent Inforce illustration for this. This policy was purchased nearly 8 years ago, so the end of the 8th year is coming up here soon. And so we're just seeing year 8 and onward. Now for the initial values that we're going to put in, those values can come from the insurance company's website. We want the gross cash value, which on this policy is $71,680.20, and the current loan balance outstanding is $54,910.68. So we put that loan balance in right up here. All Inforce policies, the policy values should start right here. And so what we're going to do is, if we look at this Inforce illustration, the 8th year, the end of the 8th year, should be the values that go in year 0 there, and year 9 would be year 1, and so on. So the easier way is to ignore the policy year column and use the age reference instead, if that value is available. So I'm simply going to change this to age 61, and now we use this as our reference column when we put the values in for the illustration. Now there's one more example that we need to make. Depending on which values that we were using, the illustration may show gross values or net values. In this example, it shows both. The guaranteed values are gross cash values, gross death benefit, whereas the non-guaranteed include the adjustment for the outstanding loan balance, and so these are net values over on this side. You can see the difference between the cash values and the death benefit. So if we want to use the non-guaranteed numbers here, then we need to adjust them for the loan balance. We can do that with a separate Excel spreadsheet. Simply going to bring over a blank spreadsheet. We're going to put in the cash value, the death benefit, the loan balance. These are the 3 columns we need. And then we're going to have gross cash value, gross death benefit. And as long as the interest is paid each year, the loan balance may stay the same. If the interest is not paid each year, then you may have an increasing loan balance. So you may need to reference one of the other pages on the Inforce illustration to see if that is the case. We're going to copy the cash values in from the illustration, also the death benefit. We'll make sure to take that asterisk out of there. And then we're going to bring in the loan balance, which in this case the interest is not being paid, it is being added to the outstanding loan. And so I'm simply going to copy the loan balance numbers directly from that page on the illustration. We're going to put these right beside the values that are existing here. So now to get our gross values, all we have to do is we add the net cash value, we add the loan balance, and for the gross death benefit, same thing. We take the net death benefit, add the loan balance, that gives us the total death benefit. The gross death benefit. We're simply going to take those formulas, drag them down, and then we're going to copy these values here, and I actually only want, okay, that should be correct, 31 years there. We're going to bring those over and use these as the values here for our Inforce example. Now what we need to do is we need to put the premiums in, which we can get right from the Inforce illustration. So we have 10,000, the paid up additions rider drops off, and we have 5 more years of this. Go ahead and put that out. That should be age 66 that ends. That is correct. No premium in 67. And then we're going to need, it looks like the cash flow starts up again at age 83 on the policy in order to keep the loan balance running. So we're simply going to bring in those numbers now. And we're going to have these be annual premiums. And now we don't have to put in the dividend. If we don't want to, these particular Inforce illustrations are not showing the dividend, and so we'll go ahead and skip that. The last thing that we want to do for this Inforce adjustment is we can adjust the month in which this policy is due. And so let's go ahead and look at the results, or when it was started. So this, let's go ahead and change our dates here. We'll put in November 2022. And we'll go to the results. It shows that the next premium is due December 22, which is correct. Now let's say that this premium was actually due let's say that it was a few months different. Let's say it was 3 months different. We could offset this with a negative number. So let's say that the anniversary date was 3 months earlier. Okay, in this case now it adjusts the next premium to be due in September. So it just makes that adjustment for us, and we can see the values adjust as well. We'll go ahead and change it back because we actually do not need to make any adjustment for this policy to be right on because its anniversary date was in December. You can see that the net cash value grows a little bit by the time that premium is due. And you can see all the numbers pick up right about the right place. One thing that I should put in still yet is the interest rate. With this company, it's 5%. If we go ahead and put that in, you'll see that the loan balance also adjusts at each policy anniversary date now. So we have another year added to the loan interest every year going forward. So if we go back to the policies real quick, you can see a quick overview of how we input this Inforce illustration.